All right, guys, I think it is time for a garden tour. We've been doing a lot of seed starting videos. I showed you a little bit of working on the secret garden. I showed you a little bit of cleaning my flower garden space by the road. So now let's take a look at what's going on in my garden behind the house. I don't know what we want to call this one, because we have the market garden goes across the road. There's nothing going on over there at this time. That'll be another month or two. This could be my potager garden, my cottage garden. I don't know. A little bit of multiple things, but it's the one behind the house. So, as you know, at least if you've seen the video, the secret garden is down the hill. Kind of you can see the end of the wrapped hay bales. It's in a square down there. So I want to make that like a perennial flower, herb, and veg garden. So rhubarb is down there, elderberries are down there, the asparagus I'm going to be moving down there, the strawberries I'm going to be moving down there. I need the asparagus to start sprouting so I can see where it all is. This kind of actually right about where my the shadow of my head ends is where it changes from asparagus to strawberries. So the strawberries have sprouted quite a bit and are encroaching into the asparagus bed. And I could start moving those down at any time, but I need to fill the bed down there with some soil before I can do that. But this will open up a pretty big corner of space here for me. Let's see if I can get through without squishing too many things. Lots of irises popping up as usual. I might take a few more of these and put them down by the road because it was nice having some blooming down there last year, and the deer have so far left them alone. I didn't take a bunch down there because I wasn't sure if the deer were going to eat them or not. Lots of lilies coming up. These are going to have to be split here eventually, but my thoughts are I have a lot of orange and yellow ones that are not my favorite. Those will be moved this year when they bloom. Hopefully I don't kill them, but I kind of want to have an actual color scheme going in this garden, and oranges and yellows are not my favorite. Those can go down into the secret garden. I could try putting them by the road. I'm not sure if the deer will eat those. We'll see. I have lots of the anise hyssop or hyssop anise. I never remember which way it goes. There's several different types of anise. This is anise hyssop, whichever spot the hyssop goes in. I can't ever remember, but whatever. It self-seeds like crazy, but it's pretty easy to dig up and move, and I'm moving them all over. Now, here I had, see the little garden fence thing there. I had a fence on both sides in here, like a little decorative fence, and this was kind of my herb spot, and it had a few perennial flowers. I had peonies in here, and I had this storm cloud emosia, I don't know how to say that either thing. It's like AMNIOSA. I don't know. We'll see if we can find the tag from wherever I moved it to. But I had a lot of different stuff in here. But again, I am trying to open more space up here for the things we want to eat regularly. And so the flowers and perennial things I'm going to do along the edge like I did in my old garden. If you go back to 2021 or earlier gardening videos, you can kind of see how I had laid out that garden at my old homestead, where lots of rock borders, flowers along the edges, inside was everything I wanted to eat. So that is what I am doing here. This spot also has a lot of lilies. It looks like maybe a couple irises in. I need to wait for them to sprout a little more, and I will dig all those up. This whole thing's going to get dug up, so basically this all the way over here is going to end up being open space for planting this year. So that's going to be really nice. Here's my little mint that I can't get rid of. Hello, mint. You don't die. Ever. Oh well, I accidentally transplanted that here from my old house. Like a tiny chunk of root must have been in there, and now I'll never be rid of it, but that's okay. When I till it up, everything smells minty. A lot of the stuff on this side I've dug up already. Some of it has been transplanted in here, some of it to the secret garden, a lot down to the road flower beds because I am expanding those. As you can see, there's still a lot more that I need to do, but I'm just trying to do it a little bit at a time. my cucumber trellis. If you're wondering what that is, we butchered hogs last weekend. I know you're like, if you read the blog updates from the winter, we just butchered hogs like a month ago at a friend's house. Yes, we decided we wanted more bacon, and we had a farmer we could buy pigs from live for 240 bucks. So we bought us a couple pigs and asked some friends if they wanted pigs, and had a pig butchering weekend, and now we're in the process of curing bacon, and it's pretty cool. A lot of meat in the freezer for not a lot of money. But these are one leftover weeds and whatever I need to pull out, but onions, bunching onions, and leeks. I think this one's a leek. Those might be leeks too. Otherwise I need to clean this bed out. That bed I have cleaned out. Over here I have my Egyptian walking onions. These are a perennial onion. I actually ordered these on Etsy, and I got 5 of them last year, and then they multiply, which is exciting. So I'm not a great onion grower. These are actually a pretty good option for me because they'll end up with a little edible onion bulb on top, basically. Instead of having to worry about weeding or any of that, it'll be on top, and it comes back every year, and that's perfect. Oh, look, I must have missed a carrot. Hello, little carrot. We have a survivor from the bunny massacre. What else is going on? This is going to be the most rambling gardening tour, so if I've already lost you, I guess that's fine. I watch these back from year to year to see what changes. Here is my lamium. The garden originally was shaped a bit differently because this one has gone through some expansions as well. I would like to chop off this chunk and straighten this out because when I run the tiller along the walkway, that's annoying. So these little trunks will probably get moved up to my front flower garden. Over here, you can kind of see I had one of those little whoop things here too, and I've already taken that out. Anything that was alive in there that I wanted, I pulled out and transplanted elsewhere. These hanging baskets I am going to retire this year. I like the wicker ones. I like the look, but they just, even if I would have pulled them down over winter, they were already in pretty rough shape. They don't hold up well to seasonal things. Excuse you, Odin. Yeah, Flash, did you let the puppy in? Oh well, not too much he can hurt right now. So I'm going to be replacing these with wire ones, and that'll just work better. See, here's that storm cloud thing that I was trying to spell for you. Amsonia. And now the dog kissing me. Oh, and it's not helpful. Come here, silly boy. Garlic is looking fabulous. I really do need to feed it. I will get on that maybe today. We'll see. This chunk from here over to the wash tubs, I am turning into my herb garden up here because I don't want all of my herbs down in the secret garden because then it'll be annoying when I want something if I have to walk all the way down there. So far I've got yarrow, bee balm, parsley, chives, thyme, and then this is a garlic chives. That's that anise and lemon balm. I have a sage plant. Flash in my garlic. Come on. Let's go, dogs. Flash. Come on. Flash. Come on. You're not rolling in Mom's garlic. I swear he knows that's my favorite thing to grow, and when they're really big, he will go roll in there and smush my garlic and come out smelling like garlic. It makes me crazy. Dogs out. Out, out, out. No dogs in the garden. Oh my goodness, I have a rock there that I try to push in front of it to keep them out, but I think I need a bigger rock. Oh, my poor garlic. Oh, and I don't think I ever finished explaining what these piles were. When we butchered the hogs, they came in a trailer full of hay, and obviously they used the restroom on the hay. So we cleaned the trailer out before we took it back, and I put it in the garden, and I will spread it around at some point. So sidetracked today, guys. But yeah, garlic, even with Flash laying on it, poor garlic is looking really good for the most part. I'd have to go look at my notes to count and see if I'm missing any. I planted them a lot closer together this year. So if you see a big gap, like here, there's a garlic here, and then not until there. So there's probably some missing there. But it's done pretty well. All right, now back over to where we were before. I have these wash tubs that I will need to fill with stuff this year. This spot is where I am bringing some of the things that were in the old herb garden that was fenced in this garden. So here's some of the peonies, more of the anise and bee balm. And I'm starting bringing up, I think those are like a ornamental onion. I thought they were daffodils last year, and then I'm pretty sure they turned the big globe, the big purple globe things. I'm pretty sure that's what those are. They look like they need a little bit of water. It was supposed to rain, and then it didn't. Oh well. Yes, the tomatoes still need to get cleaned up. These cages I'm going to be taking down to my secret garden, and I'm going to put them around my blackberry and raspberry plants down there so that I kind of can contain them as they grow. This year I'm going to do my sunflowers along here to meet wherever I end that stuff. And then my dahlias will go here in their pots, which this is normally where I do my sunflowers, but we are changing things up. And then this bed will get topped off, and I'm going to do ranunculus and gladiolas, and I'll probably throw some like zinnia and cosmo seeds in here as well, just because I can. Yeah, that's the tour of this garden. Flash already back in here. Also, I think this row I'm gonna have pulled and moved over here. I want more separation between these. This is where I do my tomatoes, obviously, and then that would give me more room over here for my okra and such that needs a good amount of sun. But all right, let's go down to the secret garden. All right, we are on the path through the woods to the secret garden. Last year I had pulled up all the elderberries that were in the big garden and transplanted them along either side of this. Some of them died because of the drought. They might still come back from the roots, but like the big branches are gone. That's okay. I still have a million, and we actually have elderberry growing here naturally. So like this one survived. Not all of them. These branches look dead, but this one is good. So yay, elderberry. The kids' fort, it was just sticks before, but we got a load of lumber from my grandpa Eli, and some of the really fun, I'm going to craft with some of them, and then some of the really funky pieces we're making a new fort. This is the base. We need to dig posts in the ground and then just get going from there. But yeah, the kids are going to have a pretty cool new fort over here. Odin, you can stay out. I know you love following mommy, but the gardens are not for the puppy. All right, so down here, I got it all fenced in. I got the chicken wire all around, although on that side, I still need to attach the chicken wire to the fence. Got a little lazy. There's nothing down here that a bunny's gonna hurt right now, so I haven't worried about it. But here, most of these were in here already in different areas. So sedum, more of that hyssop, bee balm. There are several elderberries in here. Some of them I've moved from different areas in here. You see the same thing going over here, a little bitty sedum start and some bee balm. I'm thinking this area I would like to get a couple blueberry bushes to put in there. This is kind of gonna be just an elderberry and herb corner. There's a hollyhock in there. This bed will be for asparagus. Again, if you go back to my old gardening videos from 2021 or before, I initially lined, you have to go way back, like 2019. I initially lined all the beds at that homestead in wood, and then as I accumulated rocks, I replaced the wood with rocks. I'm going to go for the same thing down here. Natural materials, what I have on hand, whatever. This is really wet soil down here, so building raised beds, even if they're just raised a little bit, is going to help anything that doesn't like having wet feet, basically. But this will be for asparagus. My bed over there is going to be for strawberries, and again, it's wood. I can change the shape, add, subtract, whatever, pretty darn easily, which is nice. This bed is going to be for rhubarb, Plus there's an elderberry in here, and I'm just going to leave him because he's doing good there. And I think one elderberry in my rhubarb bed isn't the end of the world. This rhubarb was down here already, but he was right there. So I've just moved him over here. And then I got 3 new rhubarb starts in here. The rest of this is open, other than I have, this should be a golden raspberry. I need to dig him up at some point, and I think he's going to go with those triangle trellises I showed you earlier in this corner, kind of over there. And I'm going to do the same thing in here along the edges. I will do perennial flowers of different types. I know I have catnip and borage and mullein. That looks like some more hollyhocks, which is an herb, but whatever. Flowering things and herbs along the edge. This corner I'm going to do like medicinal herbs. So we've got, or just herbs in general, chives, echinacea, anise, bee balm. We're going, there'll be lots more things to fill this in. This one I raised, gonna trip. I raised this corner bed the most because this corner is underwater like half of the year. So I may have to go even higher with it. We'll see how the plants do. I'm gonna stick things in here right now that grow really well for me everywhere else, and I end up with a million starts of. So if they don't last in here, I'm not losing anything precious. This is the mulberry tree that looks very dead, but I checked it. It is still alive. I'm going to wait for it to kind of come out of dormancy a little bit, and then I think I'm going to dig it up and move it out of this garden into the woods, and I will give it a cage to protect it from all the things, like my magnolia tree is in the cage. This is my magnolia tree that I got from Tristar Plants. Still dormant, but it looks good. It looks happy. I don't see any signs of it dying. So I'm hoping in the next couple weeks here, as the temperatures stay more consistently warm, it will come out of dormancy, and that'll be exciting to see how much it grows this year. Like I said, this bed will be for strawberries, so I need to bring in lots of soil to build that up and cover all the nonsense before I bring my strawberries up. It's just not high on the priority list right now. We don't start getting strawberries until June, so if I get them transplanted by the end of April, early May, it'll be fine. So I'm gonna do the raspberry triangle things over here somewhere. You can see I threw a couple more herb chunks down in here. And then right here in that pile of stuff from my grandpa, there's actually a couple of treated fence posts. So I think what I'm going to do is make a trellis here for a grape. I had a grape start that my mom gave me last year, and it was alive and it was doing well. I can't quite tell. I think this is it. I think that's the grape. I kind of put, this could be too. I don't know. No, I think that's it. I put bricks by where I had everything planted down here before so that I could kind of remember where things were, and I've removed bricks as I've dug things up. But this is about where the grapevine was. So I am waiting for it to show signs of life, and if it does, I will put it over by where that future trellis is going. Swallowed a bug. Oh, we're okay. Otherwise, if it didn't survive winter, I'll just buy a new grapevine start, because excuse me, those are like $8, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, so that's the secret garden. I'm gonna stick it with that name because that's what I've been calling it for 2 years now, because it was a secret when I started it. It was a secret even from Dan. I just started sticking things down here and didn't tell him. But I like the name, and it's kind of hidden down here, so it's going to keep that name. Maybe I'll have to give it a sign. But I'm excited to see how this garden develops this year, now that I've actually really started on it. And there's always room for expansion. Don't tell Dan. Shh. Secret. What are you doing? Is that going to be your fort too? Yeah, I think the dogs will love it once we get the sides and walls and roofs up. But it's been actually really rainy, and it snowed even quite a bit, so we just haven't gotten to it. These are those treated ones I want to use to build a trellis for my grapevine. But yeah, let's go look at the flower patch by the road, and then you'll be done with this very long, very rambling tour of the gardens. Okay, hopefully it's not too windy up here for you guys to hear me, but these gardens, or flower beds, or whatever you want to call them, honestly are looking the best of all of the spaces so far. I put a lot of plants that self-seed like crazy, and they did their thing. Like, look at this patch of yarrow. I have so much yarrow coming up, echinaceas coming up, bee balm, catnip. Those are the irises that survived. I've got plenty of anise, tons of hollyhocks, all the things. I planted a peony in here last year, and I wasn't sure that it was going to survive. I got like 3 peony roots on clearance, and they were really dry. So I put him in there, and look, I never saw anything from it last year, but here we go. Peony coming up. And we have some lupine coming up. So that's exciting. Behind the rock, more hollyhocks coming up. Obviously there are some weeds too. I will get to all those eventually. I haven't really cleaned this space out yet. Still waiting for it to get a little more consistently warm, but stuff is coming along. Now, you remember at some point last year, Dan acquired this car frame, and he wanted me to plant in it. Well, he got it way too late last year for me to do that, but I need to do that this year. So I've started that a little bit already, getting some rocks to prop the doors up and open. And then some of that stuff I have been pulling out of the garden and back, I've been bringing in here. So I put a chunk of one of my peonies from that garden in here. So if that one survives transplant, there'll be 2 peonies up here. And then my little herbs, I've got a big pot of wildflower seed mix going. And once that germinates, I'm going to put some fresh soil down in here, and I will just fill this car body with wildflower seeds. And you can see out here, I'm kind of going to go from the corner of the rocks to this tree over to the front of the car, and this is the space I am going to expand into this year. In future years, I may come out more on this slope. Dan's pretty much like, the less mowing he has to do, the better, but the deal is I have to be able to keep up on the weeding because he doesn't want it to look terrible. So I'm going to do it slowly with stuff that self-seeds and spreads like this, because this stuff will choke out the weeds. It will get so thick that I don't have to worry about weeds, but I can't do this whole chunk in 1 year, or I'll never, it's just, there's no way. But a little bit at a time, I can handle that. So we're working on it. But yeah, so here's some more stuff I brought back. This is catnip. It looks like there's a little bit of bee balm in it. This is where I had a bunch of zinnias planted last year. Again, like I said, I didn't finish cleaning it up at the end of the year, and that's fine. This, under this rock, is where I'm going to stick some of that lamium, because the lamium likes shade, and this area is actually pretty much under full sun most of the day. So I tuck it in there. It's looking pretty good. Do the same thing over here. Here's the little piece of lamium I tucked over here last year. See, it's spreading out there. It's doing good, and it will spread under that rock eventually, and probably around the corner and cover most of this. More echinacea, more sedum, catnip, all sorts of good stuff coming up over here. Some yarrow, bee balm, anise, more bee balm, lots and lots of hollyhocks in here. As you can see, hasn't been cleaned out yet. Again, waiting on that. No rush to clean this out quite yet. I will throw more hollyhocks in here. I got a few different varieties to mix in this year. This was all zinnias from last year. I will clean it up at some point, and when I do, I will thank you, airplane, for being so loud. Such a beautiful, relaxing day outside, isn't it, guys? We'll just give it a moment here. I can't even see it because it's too bright, but it's very loud. Probably not loud on my phone, but it's loud for me. But I'll do zinnias back here again. I've got my one lone sunflower, and he will have to get pulled when I do the clean out, and I will plant more sunflowers in here again. I don't see this. I just pulled out of the sunflower. The birds did a pretty good job cleaning the seeds out of him. But yeah, that's the front flower gardens, I guess. I don't know what to call them, but that's the garden tour for today. If any of you made it this long, congratulations, because I'm sure it was a little bit boring. But in a couple months, this is all going to be absolutely beautiful, and it'll be way more interesting to look at then. But thanks for sticking with me, guys.